Hi, this is David Saxon from Heap, the VP of Partnerships, and I'm joined here today with Eric Pollmann, the CTO and co-founder of ClearBrain.
Thanks for having me.
So, love to learn a little bit more about ClearBrain. Why don't you tell us a story and kind of a little bit more about the company?
Yeah, I'll start with what we do. ClearBrain builds analytics for growth teams. So we automatically help teams analyze, predict, and test audiences to maximize ROI. We help them optimize that user journey without writing a line of code. Specifically, we've been working with some growth teams over the past 3 years, and we've learned a few things that are pretty interesting, really. One of them is that they're looking to escape analysis paralysis. So these teams have a lot of data, and it's really hard to know what to focus on. And what we do at ClearBrain is we really help those teams using a feature we built called Automated Insights. We help them focus on the key things they need to focus on to accomplish their goals. Another thing that they're really trying to accomplish is reaching out to users based on their actual intent. So this is who's likely to convert, what product are they likely to have affinity for, what's their lifetime value going to be. And we help with that by doing predictive segmentation. So it's a really hard problem if you think about it. There's a lot of data, and it's hard to use human intuition to really solve those problems. So we apply machine learning to that problem, where we actually stick the computers on it. There's a lot of data to go through, and they're really efficient at it. And the third thing we're helping with is a lot of our customers are actually getting pretty sophisticated, and they want to test out different targeting strategies. And so they actually want to measure what is the effect of that strategy that they're using. We have built something called an incrementality engine, where we're measuring the effectiveness of an ad or email rather than just the open rate or the click-through. So that's kind of what we focus on.
So talk to me about customer behavior data, and why is that so important for personalization?
Yeah, that's a great question. Customer behavior within an application is really predictive of what people are likely to do in the future. And so it's actually, in a context of a predictive platform like ClearBrain and marketing efforts that are targeting specific users, that specific information really helps us build an accurate model about what people are likely to do in the platform. It's a lot more predictive than, say, using what browser type somebody's on, or where they come from in the world, or maybe just a high-level engagement prediction. So you can get really nuanced into who's likely to put a product in their basket, or who's likely to convert from the free plan to the paid plan.
No, that's great. Well, and I'm assuming like the larger the data set that you're collecting of the behavioral data, kind of like really can drive and fuel kind of better predictability and kind of like what that personalization kind of framework and delivery looks like, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the more nuanced you can get there, the more nuanced your predictions can be. There does probably come a point of diminishing returns.
Sure.
Where if you're logging 10,000 different types of events, at some point it's overload and the model starts getting a little noisy, but there's always regularization to address that problem. So the more the better in general.
Cool. Well, there's a ton of data that's out there that people are collecting and everything, and I'd love to kind of understand a little bit more, like what's the relationship with Heap and ClearBrain kind of mean in your vision, in your eyes? Because we help collect a lot of that data, push it over to you guys, and and it seems like there's a ton of data that's being collected across the board, and like you said, a lot of customers are having, it's not a manual or human process, it's a machine process, right?
Right, yeah. So it's been really great working with Heap. I think when a customer onboards with Heap, we're able to shorten their onboarding time dramatically. So one of the big differences is Heap provides a regular schema for events and the properties on the events. And that's necessary for us to kind of build the machine learning models. Another interesting thing is, speaking of onboarding data, Heap connects to, I think it's something like 20 different sources. So when a customer wants to onboard email or marketing or sales data, they can bring that into ClearBrain as well, effectively through Heap. And the third thing is historical data. So we're in the business of building predictive models, and you really need a lot of historical data to do that. And when you connect to a CDP, that allows us to instantly get access to the year's worth of history. But something that's really unique to Heap, I think, is the retroactive data warehousing capability, where somebody might have an insight a year down the road about a feature that they weren't planning on instrumenting, and then they can, at that point in time, actually instrument their application, label that event, and get access to the unique kind of capabilities that he provides there, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great feature.
Yeah, and it dovetails nicely with ClearBrain too, where then they can build a predictive model on past data.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And oftentimes, basically, to do that in some of the other technologies, you'd had to kind of have the forethought to kind of think a little bit more into the future about what kind of data you would need for that, or just grab everything. But that could be, that would definitely take a little bit more of a heavy instrumentation and just kind of it just wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, I remember many years ago, some friends and I were building a side project, and we were thinking, how do we kind of like keep track of what people are doing? And we found Heap, and that feature just blew my mind, honestly. That you can kind of like rewrite history.
There you go. There you go. Well, great. Well, talk to me about like the industry and some of the trends and interesting things that you guys are seeing as well, because you're almost at the core of kind of like where we see things going, where a lot of people are starting to collect all their data into the data warehouse and kind of makes that as a central brain for decisioning around that, right? Mm-hmm. And so, love to kind of get your perspective or thoughts, or kind of what are some interesting things you see happening?
Yeah, really. We kind of see ourselves serving as kind of a horizontal layer. It's kind of interesting. A lot of products are kind of targeted at specific verticals, but we're really targeting many different verticals and really offering a horizontal approach to the problem. Is how do you take data that's structured in perhaps a loosely structured format, mm-hmm. and then bring it together and build a predictive model to help your users through their journey in an optimal way. And I think we're really kind of bringing those insights to the data. So it's really a holistic problem if you think about it. As teams get more and more sophisticated, it's more and more, I think, important to take a scientific approach with things as well. And so we're really bullish on testing and experimentation as well.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you bring up an interesting point as well, is that, have you seen over the last several years, and some of the things that we see, it's like, you're starting to see a little bit more rise of kind of like data science people and heavy data, kind of like people needing to do more with data, and even companies needing more data people out there. I mean, are you seeing that tip? Are you seeing that somewhat of a struggle with some of the brands that are out there trying to, it's easy to, for the most part, to get a lot of this data, but like what to do with it, right?
Yeah, it's a very challenging problem. I think we're all a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of data we've got access to these days.
Yeah.
And it's been also a learning process over the years of how do we kind of integrate into that well-functioning team that has a data science team already. Mm-hmm. But we found that really we're kind of good allies with the data science team, where they may not actually enjoy the part of the work, which is kind of the plumbing and the automation aspect of things, which is where we are able to kind of help marketing teams do a quick turnaround and get those insights faster.
Yeah.
And they can focus on the higher level, high value product insights and the best use of their skills. And we can also kind of integrate those custom models into our product as well by taking the scores that they've generated and using those to generate features. So yeah, I think that in general, it is a very interesting time to be in this industry.
What type of data is good to collect to, really inform predictions?
Yeah, there's really three broad categories of information that's valuable to collect. One is in-app activity, mm-hmm. another is email activity, and the other is demographic information about users, where they're coming from. Kind of a little bit in contrast to what I said about the minimum requirements. I think that it does help influence models to get that demographic information. Where in the world is the user coming from? What browser are they on? What device type?
Right.
But yeah, so those broad categories are helpful. And then as well, any specific activities that the user is taking within the application are helpful as well. And then finally, I think the most important thing is things that appear like benchmark activities or benchmark attributes, like someone upgrading, someone buying a product, somebody or the plan type as an attribute are also key to collect, because those can be used as the basis of a predictive model. And so the more of those types of things you can collect, like at every step, micro step along a user journey, those are really helpful.
So let's talk about kind of like, the two different camps that are out there. Really kind of the platform versus the best in breed, build your own stack and everything. Love to get your perspective and thoughts on kind of like, both sides of the camp and talk a little bit further about that.
Yeah, that's a really interesting topic. I think there's some really powerful platforms, all-in-one platforms out there. And I think we've kind of really decided and doubled down on the best of breed approach. I think that ClearBrain really sits nicely within an ecosystem, and I think that by selecting specific tools within the ecosystem, you find the products that really fit your specific use case and are really going to be the most powerful for you. Also, you don't have the entrance fee of a large platform that's going to be pretty expensive, and really getting yourself instrumented properly through all that is going to be pretty labor intensive as well. So I think that we're obviously fans and a little biased of kind of more the best in breed and niche tools can, but there's really some great platforms out there as well.
What's next? What's on the horizon? What are you guys thinking about, and like what's kind of 6 to 12 months down the road where you think things are going, and kind of thoughts of the partnership?
Yeah, we're really excited to continue working with Heap over the next many years to come. I think we really, are really trying to double down in the value add that we bring specifically to the problem, which isn't really building a CDP. I think that simply by working with Heap, we probably saved years worth of effort building a CDP, and we were able to piggyback kind of on that capability and focus on where we really bring unique value add, which is really focusing on statistics and data science and insights, and that's kind of where we see in the next few years where we're going to kind of really bring value to our customers. Yeah.
Well, Eric, thanks for stopping by. It's been great chatting with you, and love to do this again.
Likewise, thanks for inviting us. It was a lot of fun. I really look forward to chatting next time.